So thank you again, Po, for being here. And we'll start straight away. So as you know, I'm Diviana Jubal, and I'm the cybersecurity analyst for Stay Cyber Safe. And Silvana Macri is the founder at Stay Cyber Safe, and she will join us during the session. So today, so our second session today will be around website security. So what is website security and why do you need it? When I say website security, you mentioned about blogging earlier, so it also includes blogging. So what is website security? As you know, there are lots of cyber attacks these days, and cyber attacks usually are very costly to resolve. They are not only costly but time consuming as well, because it will affect your business operation. You won't be able to operate until you resolve the cyber attack. And of course, it affects your business, your reputation, because if your clients or potential clients are get to know that you have been in a cyber attack, or if there has been a data breach from your website, of course they will be reluctant to share their information or just do business with you. But with effective website security, cyber attacks can be prevented. So website security is any action or application taken to ensure that whatever data is on your website is not exposed to cyber criminals, or also it is to prevent exploitation of website in any other way, like any types of, for example, any vulnerability that you may have on your website. It will look after these type of, um, of security issues. So why do you need website security? Because of course SMEs are nowadays, based on a study done by Norton, they are the target of at least 43% of all cybercrime in Australia. And studies tell us this is likely to increase in the coming years. And with COVID lately, lots of small businesses have went online. So, and they are like lo- very often targets of cyber criminals. So why SMEs are getting more and more targeted is usually because of SME size. So they are the SMEs, they are smaller in size, and they have lots of information which are shared among all the employees in the company. So let's say you have 5 employees in the organization, in your business. Everyone has access to almost every information, so they also have access to sensitive information. And because of their lack of dedicated like relevant and dedicated cyber skill set, they don't know how to handle information. They get targeted very often, and also you don't have big budgets to protect yourself against cybercrime, so you are the perfect targets for cyber criminals. So we don't want to scare you, but this is based on a report done by the Australian Consumer and Customer Commission in Australia. There was a study done, and the report showed that, so this is basically what was noted. So nearly 5 million Australian dollar was lost into remote access scams, and hacking was more than $5 million, and ransomware and malware, at least $156,000 was lost by people and businesses. So that's why we want to coach you, to educate you on how you can protect yourself, protect your business, and all your loved ones, or anyone who has a website and who are dealing with customer information. So some of the most common threats which your website might be exposed to are, the first is viruses and malware. Malware is usually has been shortened for malicious software, and it is one of the biggest threat to website. And they're often used to access private data or use server resources. So criminals use the malware to basically for money, and they will put malware on ads or they will just add the malware by adding links to your website without your permission. And people, by clicking on those links from your website, they can be downloading malware to their device, and of course they are a victim. So the malware, it puts both you and your website visitors at risk. Not only you, but your visitors as well, because they are the one who will be clicking most likely on those links. For example, if a visitor click on a link, as I said, on your website, they will be downloading a malicious file on their computer, and that malicious file might be recording information, for example, their credentials, that is username and password, and those credentials will be sent to their to that malicious user, and that credentials can be used against the user. For example, if that malicious user was able to get hold of a visitor's banking credentials. So that's really quite risky, well, bad, because they will be able to perform banking transactions using those credentials. So that's the first one. And then the second one, that often websites are faced with denial of service attacks. So that's DDoS. DDoS. So DDoS means double denial of service attacks. And it is basically when access is denied to users when they're trying to visit a specific website. For example, your website, someone is trying to access it, but the access is denied because that hacker, the latter has been using spoof IP addresses just to overload the web servers with traffic. And when uh, when uh, when um, when the web server has too much traffic, it just takes the website offline because it's not able to handle it. And if you have a tech person handling your website, they will try to, well, the host will try to bring back the server online as soon as possible. And in doing so, very often they can make mistake which might leave the web server vulnerable to more attacks or just malware. So that's the second one. And then one common one of website security threat is when search engine blacklist your website. That is, if your website is not properly secured, uh, search engine will rankings can be impacted. That is, if search engines, when they are looking for you, they detect malicious content on your website, they will the ranking for your website will be affected. So when people look for your website, you won't be among the top 10 or top 5, which is being shown to the visitors. So people cannot find you easily. And also very often, if your website is being reported by people as unsafe, like if um, they haven't had a proper, like a good experience from your website, or they think they have clicked on your website, they have clicked on a link on your website which caused them to have downloaded a malware, they also will report your website, and it can cause you to be blacklisted by search engines. So this is a very common threat to website as well. And then this one is a bit more technical. I'll try to explain it more simply. So that's vulnerability exploits. So because your website, they're using codes and software, very often there are weaknesses on those codes. There might be like bugs or just incorrect codes or just outdated codes which is on those website, and they when something is outdated or is just bad or is incorrectly done, they become a weakness on a website, and those weaknesses, they can be exploited by cyber criminals. As I said, weak algorithm is an example, or there is the SSL server. So SSL server, I'll take you through in the slides to follow, which is secure socket layer certificates. It is basically a padlock which you will find on your website on the address bar, which marks your website as secure. And if you're not using one, or if it's an expired one, um, it can allow communication on a website to be exposed, because and when communication on a website is exposed, malicious users may exploit it, and it may compromise web application. They can even steal information which is being stored on that website. I'll take you through the SSL certificate in the slides for you. I'll just give you an example so that you understand exactly what I mean. For now, we're just focusing on the common type of website security that you may face with. Very often, you will also be you will note that you can be faced with web defacement. So what is web defacement? It is when it is a type of attack where malicious parties, they will infiltrate your website, they will penetrate your website and replace your content. So you have a content on your website, but they will replace their own content for their own benefit or just for malicious purpose on your website. And that website, those messages, they can convey inappropriate content, of course, which will embarrass you and put your reputation at risk. Like your client will be, we will see this content. Of course, they wouldn't want to be engaged with or do business with a website which has like inappropriate content. And they can also put a message on your website saying that the website has been hacked, and as soon as your client or potential client or just visitors see it, they will leave. They won't stay on your website. So this is also a major type of risk very often that website get faced with. And there is phishing. So we mentioned phishing in our previous session a lot. So phishing usually is when someone is trying to trick you into doing something. Very often it is done via email or SMS or even through calls, like so vocal. And but some attacks take the form of web pages. So the web pages, they will look very, very legitimate. So but they are designed to trick the users into actually providing sensitive information. And there will also be malicious redirects. So like on your website, there will be malicious links which are there. And by clicking on those links, the users, they will be redirected to a different site. And very often that website will be malicious, or they will look very legitimate, but they're actually malicious website which are trying to get information, which are trying to get sensitive information from your visitors, from your clients, from your customers. So these are some of the type of website security that often websites are faced with. So I took you through some of the common, there are more than that, but these are the common ones, that you will always see that businesses are faced with. But how will you keep your website safe? Usually, if you haven't done anything to secure your website, so if you know you haven't done anything, then it is most likely to be vulnerable to attacks. Unless, as I said, if you have brochureware brochureware website is just when you're like giving out information. You're not capturing information, you're not taking information and storing on your website, you're just giving information to the client. That's brochureware are not that risky, because of course there's no risk of you having a data breach because you're not capturing information. There's no information that people might be used from your website, but there are still malicious users can still put, for example, malicious messages or malicious links on your website. So the first thing to do is to, well, there are some basic best practices that you can adopt to ensure that your website is secure. The first thing to do is to have a secure socket layer certificate, which is an SSL certificate that you have to add to your website. It is just a security protocol which will establish an encrypted link, like an authenticated link between the web server and the browser. So when someone is using your web server on a browser, it ensures that this is an encrypted link, it is secure. And how do you get an SSL certificate? You have to buy it usually. It's not that expensive. There are lots of providers, for example, GoDaddy, Net Registry, and etc. But you can also some of the website that you are some of the hosting website or provide you with that service already. So by using a host, uh, if you're paying a fee, they will provide you already that SSL certificate. So this is an um, this is the SSL certificate that I was mentioning about. I'm taking the example of stcybersafe.com.au, which is our website. So here we have a padlock, and that padlock is saying that the connection is secure. So that the SSL usually is valid for a certain period of time, and you must ensure that it is always valid, so it has been renewed. You will get notification if your SSL certificate is being expired, so you will know. And if your website doesn't have a padlock, it will be marked as not secure. So when it is marked as not secure means that it is an HTTP instead of an HTTPS, because the S stands for secure. Um, so that SSL certificate, you will get the secure. So anyone who who goes to your website, and if you have that SSL certificate, they will get the secure notification on the address bar. And uh, Google now is deranking all websites which do not have an SSL certificate. So when someone is looking for you and you do not have an SSL certificate on your website, Google, you won't be among the top searches. Google is just deranking you. And within, like we recommend to have an SSL certificate, because with an SSL certificate, you are allowing your customers and visitors to trust your website, because your customers, like potential customers or just visitors, they wouldn't want to do business with a website who doesn't have a secure website, because they will be sharing their information most of the time, which are sensitive information with that business. But that saying, anyone can buy an SSL certificate nowadays, because it is as long as they have a website, you can buy a certificate. Thus, even if you have if a website has the HTTPS, have the secure notification, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is secure, because but there are also other ways of recognizing a fake website. One simple one is by checking the reviews, because even when you're doing business, when you're buying stuff online, you wouldn't go to a website which is marked as not secure, because you will be storing your banking details there. And you should go for website which is reputed, like for example Amazon or eBay. You wouldn't buy something with a website which is not which doesn't have good reviews, for example. So same apply for your client. So another way of keeping your website safe is by using a web application firewall. A web application firewall, usually denoted as WAF, it stops automated attacks that commonly attack small or lesser known websites. So if you have a small website and which is quite new, brand new, a WAF will stop automated attacks, because these attacks are carried out by malicious bots. Bots, we just mean robots or software online. They are malicious, and those, because they are robots, they are software. They have been configured to detect perform attacks by looking for vulnerabilities that they can exploit on website. And these type of software, they are the ones that often cause denial of service attacks that cause to crash your website or just stop people from visiting your website. I will share this article through the chat box later. and it will recommend some of the best WAF that can be used for SMEs. Some of them are free, but of course, with all free software, there are risks associated. We recommend the paid ones, and it depends on what your budget is, but you can have some good web application firewall for your website. Of course, you need to update your software. On your website, you are using lots of software, such as if you're using a WordPress software, or just there are additional plugins that you're adding to your website. There is content management system, and any types of software that you are using on your website. Make sure that they are being updated as soon as any update is available. So make it automatic, so that as soon as it's available, it's just being updated. This is it's related to your website and to your business as well. When you're putting a website on a contact email on your website, make sure it is an enterprise email. What is an enterprise email? It's just an email which has your domain name. For example, your business is yourbusinessname.com. So instead of having, for example, yourbusiness@gmail.com, it is just yourbusiness@yourbusiness.com.au. Hope you are able to understand what I'm saying, but it is more secure with enterprise email. With enterprise email, you will have a safe and reliable and secure email server, which is essential for any business and enterprise to build trust toward your clients. Because if your clients can see that you've invested in the security of your business, of course they would want to be with you. And very often, if you were able to notice, spam come from personalized emails such as Hotmail or MSN or Yahoo email. So free email providers, they are very easily hacked, because anyone can create an account with Gmail, but not with your specific domain. And if your account gets hacked or used to send spam, it does affect your reputation, as I said in the previous slide. Because enterprise email, they have spam filters, and they have very advanced security protocols that will help to keep your account safe and secure at all the time. So your client will be able to trust any emails that they're getting from you. They will know that emails coming from you are not malicious, so they will trust the email that you're sending to them. So we mentioned about backup if you were in that previous session. So backup is very important when it comes to your website or to your data files, to everything. You need to have backup. Similarly, I was talking about email. You need to have a backup email, because you don't want to miss imported emails from your clients. So you need to ensure that your email has sufficient backup servers in case one of the server is experiencing downtime. And there is this free tool that we often use to check if your email has several email servers, so how redundant. In case one of your mail servers is down, at least there will be other ones which are still working and which will still keep your mailbox going. So MX Toolbox is a very good tool. You can just, if you have a website or if you have a domain, just put that domain on that MX Toolbox, and then you can check if your email have redundancy when it comes to mail servers. I will take an example if we have time at the end of the session. Then when it comes to your website, we recommend that because there are lots of different hosts, but use one which is a secure one. Don't just choose any host. Choose a secure and reputable web hosting company to ensure, because it's your website, you need to ensure security of your website. Choose a reputable and a secure one. And the host that you choose, they must be aware of any type of threats, and they must be committed to the security of your website. Your host should also, usually your host should be able to back up your data to a remote server and make it easy for you to restore in case your site has been hacked. And choose a host which is able to provide you ongoing technical service or any type of service, because in case you need your host, you need any type of support on your website, you need to have a host which is there for you. In case any of you is using using WordPress as a host, there is the WP Engine. It is an Australian-based digital service which hosts and manages your WordPress site, and but it allows you to manage the content. So whatever comes to security, software updates, anything around security and software updates, they will the WP Engine, they will handle that. You don't have to worry about anything. But of course, if you have a WordPress site. I will share this link as well in the chat box during the Q&A at the end of the session. I know I'm sharing lots of information with you, but you will have those information with the business station, and also on the YouTube channel. You can go back to the YouTube channel just to look at the content and in type of information that you're missing while I'm talking. But you can also ask me questions during the Q&A. So I keep going with how you can keep your website safe. We keep on emphasizing on having a strong password policy. So strong password, they are like the basic way of identifying yourself when it comes to logging onto a website or an online account. So make sure that you adopt a strong password policies for your business, and if you have employees, make sure they are doing the right thing as well. So they have adopted a strong, long, complex, and unique password, because hackers, they are using very sophisticated tools and software to crack password. They can crack your password within seconds, or if you don't have a strong password policies, your password can be cracked instantly. So make sure the policy that is in your company, or just the password that you have, it is a combination of uppercase, lowercase letters. It has numbers, and of course special characters. And we recommend that you have a long password, because the longer your password, the longer it will take to crack. 12 to 14 characters is a good one. And yeah, of course, ensure that it is not only you who is adopting this policy, but it is across your business, your organization. And I will not stop emphasizing on backing up your data. So back up your site regularly and maintain backups of all your website files in case your site becomes inaccessible or your data is lost. Someone mentioned about how they can back their blogging website. Because you're using a host for your blogging website as well, your web host, they should be providing that feature already on your website. If you go onto your dashboard on your website, it should allow you to back up. The automatic backups are the best, of course, done on a regular basis, but you can do manual ones. So manual ones, you can just go onto your dashboard and export that backup onto a different location or on the cloud. But we recommend the automatic ones because they are more practical and convenient for you to use. There are also plugins that you can use for your backup. There are free ones and paid ones, but we often recommend the paid ones, because with all free service, there is a risk associated. So ensure that you back up your data as well with regards to your website. On your website, make sure that it is a clean website. That is, any files which you are not using, any database or application which you haven't been using on your website, or you know you wouldn't use on your website, make sure they are being deleted, or just move it from there, or just archive it onto a different location, because if you have a file which is on your website which is not being used, they can be often be a risk on your website, because you are not checking that website. You don't know what is, you're not checking that file. You don't know what is there. They can be exploited by malicious users. And very often you need to scan your website for any type of vulnerabilities. So on a regular basis, do web security scans to check for any type of vulnerabilities which has been on your website. It cannot be with regards to the data that you're uploading. It can also be that the host that you're with have a code which is incorrect. So do regular scans, because the scans they will allow you to know any type of vulnerabilities which is on your website. There are free tools which is available on the internet that you can use. But those tools, they will tell you that the basic vulnerabilities on your website. If you want, especially if you have a website which is capturing information from people, we recommend professional expertise, because they are the one who are going to do like an in-depth analysis on your website, do a proper scanning of your website, or just analyze your website on where risk can be found, or any type of vulnerabilities is there on your website. They will know, because those tools are only providing a basic service. They are free anyway. They cannot provide you a full service. They will just provide you the basic ones. So now that you know how to keep your some of the ways how you can keep your website safe from cyber attacks, we're going to talk a bit about performance of your website. So with performance of your website, very often when you're going onto a website and it's not loading, you tend to get bored, and you will just go to a different website which is providing the same service. So page speed loading is very important to user experience. Pages which has a longer time to load often cause visitors to just leave the page, as I said, and go to a different website. If they're having the same product or the same service on a different website which is quicker, then of course they will rather go to the different website rather than staying there and just waiting, because time is precious. So a website should load very fast. It should, especially on your mobile. If you're going into a website, within 1 to 2 seconds, the website should be there. You should have all the options, all the features, all the services which is there. 53% of mobile sites visits are abandoned if that page is taking more than 3 seconds to load. So 3 seconds is very long for people. Even it sounds very short, but it does affect user experience. So there are, again, we're just going to provide you with some these tools. So these tools, they are free again, and they will help you to optimize your website performance. Page Speed Insight is provided by Google. There are other similar tools, but we use Page Speed Insight provided by Google a lot. If you go onto that website, I will take an example, of course. If you go to Page Speed, you just have to drop in the URL of your website on the box and just analyze. And within seconds, it will give you a report. It will give you a report on where your website is taking time to load, on what, on how you can optimize performance, where you can, for example, if you have too much images on your website, or very huge pictures which are not which are taking time to load, Page Speed will point this out, and they will tell you what you can do. So with regards to images, there are standard images that website need. They don't need like a high resolution image for your website to look good. There are just standards. If I'm not mistaken, I think the standard one is 500 KB, and it should be found on your website. But TinyPNG is a great tool as well. TinyPNG, it allows you to compress images that you're loading onto your website, but it still maintains the quality. Um, it will reduce the image size significantly, sometimes up to 70% that we've seen in the past. So make sure if you are building your website, or if you already have a website which is taking time to load, or if you've done the analysis by page speed after this session, make sure you use TinyPNG to um, to increase performance and to reduce the size of any images which is causing your website to slow down. So that was mainly about optimizing performance of your website. Some of the additional security that you can use, these are just basic ones, so basic hygienes that we recommend to everyone and your website as well. Educate your team. So whatever information that we're sharing with you today, please share it with your team, and so that they know how they can contribute to your website being secure. Ensure that you have multi-factor authentication turn on your website, or on any apps that you're using with collaboration to your website. And you should have policies, processes, and controls in your organization. For example, we talk a lot about principle of least privilege. That is, don't give your employees more access that they need to have. They only need to be given access, only enough access to just to their job. If you're giving them too much access and they're not aware about security, or sometimes they can just forget, or not they won't be doing, they will not do it like intentionally, but it can be just they forget, and they can be the area of exposure to cyber criminals is bigger. So just adopt the principle of least privilege and just give enough access to your employees to do their tasks. Don't give more than they require. With regards to your I mentioned about phishing earlier. So in case you are doing business with a website, and they are redirecting you to a different website, very often you should be cautious of these psychological triggers, which is curiosity, greed, fear, helpfulness, and urgency. These are triggers that you will often see when someone is trying to scam you, and there will be at least one of these. They can be a combination as well, but there will be at least one of these psychological triggers. And of course, do not overshare information on social media that can be used against you. For example, your location or your new contract. Um, Cyber criminals, they are looking for information so that they can build a profile against you and use those information against you. So know what type of information you're sharing. If that information can be used against you, just do not share it. And of course, resist the temptation to click on unknown links. For example, on social media or on just any type of website that you're visiting. Very often, if you have a link which sounds too good to be true, like someone is telling you by clicking on this link, you're going to win a trip to somewhere, to Hawaii, it is most probably a scam. No one will give you a ticket for free. And yes, back up your files regularly and test if it is available, and ensure if it is in a separate safe location, offsite or in the cloud. And yes, test regularly if it is available. And of course, keep your operating system, application, or all software that you're using up to date by applying the patches which are available. And as soon as you get an update on your device, on your operating system, or on the application that you're using, make sure you are updating it immediately. Don't leave it to the next day. So if your website has been hacked, the first thing that you need to do is report the incident to your IT or your managed service provider. And we recommend that you reinforce controls. For example, change your password to all your online accounts and review where things went wrong. So if you walk through the steps that cause you to your website to be hacked, just walk through it. And if you know one of the controls failed, review it, and of course add some more controls, some more protection, so that you don't do that. You don't do that same mistake again. And yes, check your data and backups if your website has been hacked, in case the backup has been modified or has been deleted by the hacker. uh, you will definitely, that's why we recommend having not one backup, but at least two or more than two. And it should be in a different location. One should be physical and one in the cloud. And of course, it should be offsite, not at the same office that you're sitting at or on the same device that you're working. And if your website has been hacked, make sure you inform your clients or contacts, because you don't want them to be to have a spam email from you, or just inappropriate messages from your email address or on your website. It might affect your reputation. Well, it will affect your reputation. So you need to inform your clients as soon as it happens. And you should also check for any unauthorized activity, for example, on your banking platform. If you see any type of fraudulent transaction that you haven't authorized, contact the bank immediately, so that the account is not, that transaction is not processed. And refer to the policy if in case you have cyber insurance, so that you know the terms and how you can get assistance. I will share this link with you on how you can turn on multi-factor authentication for some of the common apps. It is available on cyber.gov.au, and it will give you all the instructions on how you can turn on multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is very important, because it will, if someone even is able to get hold of your username and password, because it has more than one factor of authenticating yourself to that account, they will have to provide one additional information. For example, a code which is sent to your mobile phone, or just a security question. So make sure you turn it on, and ensure you have privacy settings configured on the apps that you're using. For example, if you have your business on Facebook or on Instagram, make sure you have your privacy settings configured. And on the eSafety guide will give you the instructions as well for some of the common apps. Then these are useful resources in case you have been hacked. ID Care is available 24/7. You can contact them on the 1800 number, or you can just go to their website. They are non-tech, so they will guide you in case you have been hacked to the right authorities. They will even give you counseling, because when you're a victim of a cyber attack, not only your business is affected and your reputation or your finance, but also you get mentally affected. So they will help you on that. Make sure you report it onto cyber.gov.au, and you report it on ScamWatch as well. And ScamWatch is a website which is run by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. It is a site which provides you information on how to recognize and avoid any type of scam. You can also subscribe to the newsletter, so that you get information on the latest type of scams, and you can identify them as soon as you see them. So you can also check if your email address, work or any type of personal email addresses have been compromised at Have I Been Pwned, which has been developed by an Australian guy, Troy Hunt. So you just have to put in your email address, and it will tell you on the website that it has been breached, including the type of information and the year that it has been breached. So if any of your email address has been breached, make sure you change your password immediately. That's the first thing to do. You can also check if you have if your current password that you're using is secure on howsecureismypassword.net. Don't worry, it is not being taken online. This website is it has a local script which runs on your device, on your machine, and you type in your password. It will tell you in how long your password can be cracked with a software by a hacker. So please do use these resources. So thank you for your attention. I'll take your questions now, but before that, please please follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and Twitter for all the latest type of cyber attacks, threats, and tips with regards to cybersecurity. Thank you, and now I'll attend to your questions. So yes, for Pro, my website has SSL. I use Bluehost for. With regards to the to Bluehost, you're using Bluehost. I cannot really tell you how Bluehost is, but I will recommend that you check the reviews. I'm not asking you to change your host, but if you're worried about security of your website, I'll mention about WP Engine because it is WP Engine. It handles all your security issues when it comes to WordPress specifically. So make sure you're using, because it is available, you can use it. So make sure you check WP Engine. I haven't really used Bluehost, but WP Engine is a great tool. Use them. And with regards to the size of your photos, 100, it seems to be quite a big picture. I will recommend that you try to check TinyPNG. I'll just show you how you can use TinyPNG. So with TinyPNG, so this is the site that I was mentioning, TinyPNG. So all pictures that you're uploading on your website, just drop it here, and when you drop it here and you click on TinyPNG, it will resize it for you, and it will resize it for you so that it maintains the quality of the image, but it is just reducing the size, and then you can upload. So if you have up to like 100 images on your website, just imagine how much you can save, and this definitely optimizes performance and the loading time of your website. Using Google Edit function. No, this for this one, it's not Google Edit. It's TinyPNG that I was recommending. There are other tools that you can use, but TinyPNG is a good one. The Google one that I was mentioning is Google is PageSpeed Insight. This is PageSpeed Insight, which is developed by Google, and here you just have to drop in, for example, I'm just putting ScamWatch here. So you just put in the URL to your website, and you click on Analyze. As soon as you click on Analyze, it will analyze it for you, and it will give you a report. It will give you a report on the type of information which is like too big on your website, and which you can work on. For example, we mentioned like usually pictures are the ones which affect a lot performance, and that's why we recommend resizing them. So you will definitely, if you're using a 1000 by 750 pixel, it's definitely a big picture. I have to check what's the standard size. I have to go through my notes, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a 500 KB. but I will share it in an email as well, which business station will share with you afterwards. So I am adding more blocks with my photos. Will this eventually? Uh, yeah. So yeah, many photos. It will definitely affect performance. And yes, please resize the pictures. Not MS Edit photo, but tiny PNG is the one that I was mentioning. A blog weekly and backup website monthly. No, we recommend to do a backup on a daily basis, but because you are using a host already, check check on your dashboard how often you're doing your backup. It is available on it is a feature available on your dashboards. You should just check that, and you can also configure it to be automatic. You can also do manual backups, but the automatic one are the best one because it is just more practical and convenient. So if you have any more questions, please drop them down in the chat box. While waiting for you, I'm just going to share some of the links that I mentioned earlier. So I mentioned about so web application firewall. This is a good article, and I recommend you have a look if you think that you need. But it's a good one. It's a good one to add up, especially if you're capturing data on your website. So make sure you do use a web application firewall. And then I also talk about WP engine. No, I spoke about MX Toolbox. So in case you have an enterprise email, you can check if your current email has even enough redundancy in terms of your servers. In case one of the servers is down, at least you will be able to still use your email if it has redundancy. And yes, this is the WP Engine website. I'll share that with you, Pro, because you have a WordPress site. Make sure you check it. And what else can I share? Yeah, so page speed. I'll share page speed with you. And tiny PNG. So page speed is to check how your website performance is and how you can optimize the performance of your website. And tiny PNG, I just shared it with you. That's to resize the images that you're uploading on your website and to again optimize performance, because you don't want pictures to put like too heavy pictures on your website, which will definitely affect performance. And the more pictures you have, just keep on resizing them so that they don't affect performance of your website. And yes, so MFA, how to turn it on. So make sure you have it on for all the apps that you're using. And this side, it will tell you for some of the common apps on how you can turn it on. It will give you the instructions. And with regards to if you're using webs platforms such as Facebook or Instagram to do your business, ensure you have privacy settings configured as well. And eSafety, it will give you it will give you the instruction on how you can configure privacy for the common apps. And I'll share this as well with you. ID care and Scam Watch. Please copy all the link if you are able to, else we will still share it, and it will still be shared via Business Station. And then so this is have I been calling. This is how you can check if your email address has been in any breach. And how secure is my password is to check how long a software will take to crack your current password. And if you need to, of course, you have to change it if it's cracked within a week or within seconds. So that's it. I think I've shared all the links, and I've tried to answer all your questions. If you don't have any more questions, I'll end today's session. So thank you everyone for being here today, and I'll see you next week for our last session. Thank you.